Good morning, everybody. This is Natalie with Cook With Me. Today we are going to be making part of our menu tasting series, which is fried jacks and avocado. So it's like the American version of avocado toast, right? Or toast avocado on toast, where you can put a lot of different items on it, such as eggs, bacon, whatever you think you can eat your avocado and toast with. It's the same thing. Fried jacks is just a different word for fry bread. It's a dough that we fry that becomes fluffy and soft, and it's basically a type of bread. So that's what we're going to be making today. Let's first start off by washing our hands because we'll be making a dough. And you want to be remove all your jewelry because they're going to get full of dough. So that's the first thing I do. Let me set it somewhere safe. Put it in a drawer. Not next to the sink, right? Where we always put it. And then somehow ended up becoming a plumber by having to take apart your sink to find your ring. And then to come to find out you put it somewhere totally different. Because that hasn't happened to me before, you know. Telling a story from a friend. So, let's go over our ingredients for what we're going to be making today. I have red flour. You can use all-purpose flour. I was just come to realize that when in experimenting with the fried jacks, that red flour already has some of the ingredients to make let's see what it says, to be specific. Let's see if it says what is in it. Ideal for yeast breads, pizza crust, rolls, and more. So there is such a thing as bread flour that you can use. It's wheat flour, barley flour. That's what it says. Well, I will put baking powder in it. So, but with the bread flour, for some reason, I guess it's the way it's fine, or it's, how do you say it? The way it's made was made better for bread flour. It's like pizza flour, right? It's double, and pasta flour, it's double O flour. There's just certain qualities in it that makes for a softer bread. And that's what bread flour is. And you can use all-purpose flour. I've been using all-purpose flour all the time. This is only the second time I've been using bread flour. And I think I like it better. So I will see what the big difference is. One day at home, I'll make fried jacks with bread flour and all-purpose flour and see what the difference is. But for me, I think it's the texture. Okay, so we have bread flour, baking powder, evaporated milk. I found this cool one that has a lid because we don't always use all of it, so we can reuse it. Salt and butter. We'll also be using warm water. So to get this started, we also want to first make sure our oil is on. So I'll show you what I have going on back here. It is the oil, and I use canola oil, and I put it right deep enough, like rice, to be deep enough to deep fry. So whichever pot you're using, you just want it deep, not full, because when you put things in it, the oil will rise. So you want to be careful with that. So I will get this started. I'll turn it on low until we need it, then we'll turn it a little bit higher. But for now, just to get that flour going, we leave it on low. So my center burner is the burner that is the bigger burner. So for the ones with just the 4, usually the big one in the back is the one I usually use. So let's turn it on low, get that oil going, and then let's make our dough. So the other thing, we need a measuring cup. I'll use my invisible measuring cup. I don't measure anymore, but you want 2 cups of flour. So I usually just eyeball it. But you want to be using 2 cups of all-purpose flour or bread flour. About that much. And then you want 2 tablespoons of baking baking powder, or about that much. And then a little pinch of salt. And when you're using your salt, the last time I ran out of fine salt and I used it wasn't coarse, but it was a little bit bigger in coarseness. You don't want to use that in your fried jacks because I literally felt I was biting into rock salt. So you want to use fine salt when you're using your fried jacks. And then we're going to mix that up. We don't want to get that in the food. All right, so we have the flour and the baking powder and your salt in here. Then we're going to be using butter. So for your butter, you want to use softened butter. I always have softened butter in my butter dish somewhere, and I also have, cold butter in the fridge, but you always want to have a stick of softened butter. Especially when you have toast in the morning. But you always want to have softened butter around. And you just want to use about a tablespoon, not too much, because it is going to weigh down your dough. You're going to have thick, doughy fried jacks. All right. It's about a tablespoon of butter. And what I love about all butters, right, is that talking and I'm like trying not to cut. It's very sharp. The butter labels are on the side that you can see the measurements, like 1 tablespoon. So you just cut perfectly slice into it and pull it away, and it's already pre-measured for you. So you don't need to put it in a little teaspoon or anything. It's just right there. Then you want to cut your butter into your flour. So you want to, I use my hands. So I said the first things first is wash your hands because we're about to be making dough. And so we are going to get that into pea-sized amount and evenly into the flour. So you're just taking the butter in your hands and you're crushing it, is what I'm doing. In case you're wondering, what's she's doing? She's just messing around with the flour. No, I'm taking it and I'm squeezing it and doing this at the same time. So, because you want your butter to be evenly distributed in your flour. So you're gonna have that. All right, then what you also want is, you don't want anything cold. It's like when you're making breads, right? You don't want anything cold. So I had this out, I had it in the fridge, but I had it out from this morning to have it up to room temperature. I'm gonna turn my water on hot. And then, let's mix, let's shake. If you have a bottle, always want to be sure to shake. Making a mess, okay. Part of vegan baking. And then, you are going to use, measuring again. You just want your dough to come together as a dough, and it'll be what you'll probably, for a can, let me take a look at a can to tell you the size. So a can usually comes about 13 ounces, and you're not going to use all of it. You're probably going to use 10. About 10 ounces of evaporated milk, if you want to be precise. So what I do is I just take it in there, a little bit at a time, put my flour around. You don't want a lot of water. Because water, I've tried using water once because we didn't have evaporated milk, and it left my my dough very thin and crispy when I fried it up, and I don't want thin and crispy fried jacks. I want soft and fluffy fried jacks. That's why we use the milk. So I'm just going to put about 2 tablespoons. I'm just going to put my bowl in the sink for 2 taps. 1, 2, and that's all I need. of water. As you can see, it's still floury, and we don't want that. And if you put too much flour, if you put too much liquid, that's okay. You're just gonna add flour. The dough is all about the feel of it. So we still need some more. Just put a little bit at a time. And like I said, if you put too much, that's okay. You can just always add some flour. All right, so now we have it to about a sticky consistency, which is what we want. And then we're gonna roll it around. You don't need any more liquid now. See, I put too much water, too much liquid in it, just to show you that it's gonna be okay. So now we take a handful of flour, a little bit of time. What you making? I am making some, this is called Fry Jacks. It's basically fry bread, and we'll take the dough, we'll fry it up, and we'll slab on some avocado on it. It's like the American version of avocado toast. So that's what we are cooking up today. It's an appetizer that I'm going to also be experimenting, because this is a menu tasting series. So I'm creating the menu over again. And so I'll be doing a little bit of experimenting in these classes. So I'm going to cut them up in, instead of, when making the round, instead of just cutting it in half, I'm going to be cutting it in fours, so that we can use it as like an hors d'oeuvre, like a hand bite-sized hors d'oeuvre. So that's what we'll be doing. So we can just put a nice big slab of avocado on it, and then eat it up. All right, see? It's a little bit sticky. That's okay, because we still need to flour our surface. Make sure you have your surface already cleaned off before doing this. All right, so how you will know your dough is coming together is because my little secret is that you will no longer have sticky fingers. Your dough will completely come off your hands and into your dough that you're kneading. So the other trick is you want to go this way, you want to turn and fold, roll again, turn and fold. You don't turn it and turn it the opposite way. No, I did it. turn it the opposite way. You want to turn it in the same direction, even if you're going right or you're going left. You want to turn it in the same direction and just keep going. So we're going to turn. As you can see, all the dough is coming off my hands, and you're getting that doughy consistency. See? Easy peasy, right? All right. All my dough off my hands. Roll it. It's like I'm out of breath. I work out for the morning. All right. You want it to come together. You want it nice and soft. You don't want to over mix it either. If you have a mixer, throw it in there on low speed. All right, there we go. So we gotta let this rest a little bit before continue messing with it, and let the chemicals do its thing. So what I do is I'll put it over there on the side. I'll put it here. I am watching you make this. Somebody's working out and watching me cook at the same time. So this is your motivation to finish working out and burn a little extra calories, so you can have some space to make this when you're done. All right, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to put the dough on the side, flip it over, and use this as a cover to let it rest. In the meantime, between time, while that is going, we are going to be making our avocado spread. So I'm gonna be making a lot of avocado, so I'm gonna be using the food processor. usually it's 1 or 2 avocados, so I don't usually use the food processor. But because I'm making a lot, you can use the food processor. So I have my avocados out. I already had them out on the counter. Whenever you cook, you always want to bring all your stuff up to room temperature. So leave all your stuff out on the counter and let's get chopping this avocado. So I'm just going to toss it into the food processor as we go. So remember the seeds in the middle. So when you put your knife in, you put it in until it stops. Then you just go around. And we're going to be tossing it into the food processor, so there's no need for perfectly sliced or diced avocado right now. You want to take the little stem off because they always fall into the food processor. Just scrape it all out. Scrape all that goodness out. And to take the seed out, take your knife, spin, put it on the side. Oh, I didn't see. And then you just take it off the side. However it is that you're comfortable doing that. And I just use a small paring knife. There we go. And the other ones. And then we're going to toss some limes in this. And if you have tomatoes, you put tomatoes in this. You can make it like into a guacamole. But for today, I'm just going to be putting, let's see what I have in my fridge. What did I pull out? I had some red onions that I have in there. So I'm just going to be putting a little bit of red onions. You don't have to. It could just be yummy, creamy avocado without the, oh no, I want all the avocado. So, we scrape it off. The little pieces all the way. Alright. There we go. And then remember you have that heat going in the back. So if you start smelling your oil, you want to have your vent fan on at this time. I don't have my vent fan on because you won't be able to hear me. But you should be having your vent fan on so that you don't get the smoke into your home. So that means avocado isn't ready. Let's see. When it's hard to come apart like that, it's usually a little bit greener. But that's okay because we're going to be putting it in the food processor, and all the other ones that are extremely ripe, this will be the nice balance to it. So if you're smelling it in the back or you're seeing it smoke, it's too high, bring it down. So see, that's when the seed will be hard to come out too. That's when you know your avocados are too green. And it's gonna be a little bit bitter. But sometimes it's the last avocado. Like, oh, squeeze some lime on it, put some salt and pepper on it, and you might not be able to tell, depending on how green it is. All right, I'll do one more. I have 4 avocados, and these are medium-sized. So it'll be a good amount for an appetizer if you're doing this with friends. And don't forget, this is a Cook With Me live class, but I do offer cooking classes from the comfort of your home. So instead of going out, you need a date night, can't find a sitter, don't need to worry about that. You can have the kids in bed, and then you can still be home watching them and have your date night or your girls' night. And I've had families that have their kids in the kitchen with them too. That's perfectly fine. It's your home, it's your kitchen, it's your comfort zone. So we'll be cooking and they'll be taste testing. All right, there we go. Now we will get the limes out. I was like, should I wash my hands? But probably not, because I will get my hands dirty anyway. So I'm not gonna wash my hands until I'm all done. All right, and I have this handy dandy lime squeezer. We're gonna squeeze this right over our limes, or our avocado, sorry. Then, and the more lime you have, the better. So I'd say about three, because we have 4 avocados. Because you don't want it then too, you don't want your avocados watered down either. But again, it depends on the size lime you have and how much squeeze you get out of it. So you want to say about a small lime to every avocado you have, because it will also preserve its greenness. You know, when you have avocado out on the counter for a long time, especially if you're having it at a party or something, and it's going to be left on the counter and not eaten all immediately, you want your limes in there so you can preserve that nice bright green color. And I also had some salsa that I made the other night. I made some warm salsa. I put the tomatoes and the onions in over the stove, and so I have, and then at the end I put in my food processor, and then I added my cilantro at the end, and then because you don't want black cilantro once it gets burnt, so I have some of that, and then I put it in the food processor, put it back on the stove, and then put it back to be nice and warm. And I have some of that, so I might, let me see, let me try. 1, 2, 3, and I had 4, so let's start with 3. Some of them were really, so we're gonna always season salt and pepper. Salt and pepper. And when you have these, I always put black pepper in the side, on the pepper side. Okay. A couple pinches to go around. Then I'll show you without the onions, because that was not on the list. But I just had some in my fridge. So that's the joy of cooking too, right? Let's throw whatever we have in our fridge. I'm gonna put this in the food processor. Bring it here a little bit so you can see. Get this all out the way. And it's gonna be loud. As it always says, you have the loudest food processor ever. But I said turn it up on high so that you can get that whip in it. All right, so I'm going to add a little bit of diced onions. Get my, I don't know why I don't have my cutting board here. Get my cutting board here. Always put a towel underneath so you don't have a sliding cutting board. Cut along the lines of the onion, and since I'm not doing a lot of onions, I'm not doing it all the way from the back to the end, I'm only doing little pieces on the edge, just because. Why am I using my paring knife? But that's okay. We have what we have in the kitchen right now, right? Kitchen is your comfort zone again. It's nothing that needs to be perfect or precise. As long as in the end it's delish. Alright, so I will put, let me show you what's going on in here. Look at that bright, green, creamy deliciousness. I'm gonna add a little bit of onions, just because that's what I had. And if you have that, like those pre-made salsas, toss that in there too in the end. And I'm just gonna pulse this to come together. Oh, these onions always make me cry. No matter how little or how much, I don't care what they say. I've been in the kitchen since I was, I'm gonna reveal my age here. Since I was about 20. I'm now, when I was in the Air Force, and now I am about to be 40. See, crying comes at the same time, at the right time. And no matter how many onions I've cut, cry every time. All right, so I'm just gonna pulse this on low, turn it on, just for it to come together. All right, the tears of my age. All right, so we have this creamy, delicious avocado in here. Look, remember when I said turn it up and whip it? This is why. All right, so let's get this into a serving dish. Oh, let's taste. Let's taste. Let me get this into it to make sure we have enough salt. I would add a little bit more salt. You can always add that right here. I just put it in the food processor so we can get that nice whipped texture in it. Be nice, light, and airy, just like our dough. I'm going to scrape every last bits, right? No avocado gone to waste. And I'm just saying, I might get a little bread and wipe out this dish. No waste, no waste. All right. Very good. So better if I had grabbed a spatula. So if you have one, if you don't, again, your kitchen, no big deal. There we go. Now look at that. Creamy, delicious avocado. Whipped avocado. So we're gonna set this aside, turn this off. We're all done with the cutting board. Put that aside. Wipe off my counter because now we're going to get to these fry jacks, fry dough, fry bread, whatever it is that you want to call it. In Belize, we call it fry jacks. So, get our dough. Remember, we had it sitting under the pan, nice, risen, and fluffy. So we're going to keep the pan here. I don't want to make too much banging for you for the noise. I'm going to check my oil. Make sure it's, yep. I'll turn it down a little bit because I'm not completely ready for you yet. And we're going to just twist, squeeze, twist, squeeze, twist. So you need to be perfect size, but to make it easier for you, you can also make it into a log. Use a knife and slice. Same thing. Whatever we do, because I remember I had a client, she's like, how do you do that twisting? Okay, let's make this easy. It's to roll it into a log. Alright. It's all about what's comfortable for you. Just because I do it that way doesn't mean it's comfortable for you that way. So I'll keep this under so it doesn't get dry. We're going to need a floured surface. And also you want to have ready your frying equipment. Once we get frying, it's easy peasy. See, it's smoking a little bit. So my fry jacks are like, hurry up. So you want to have your, like a cookie, this is a cookie sheet, a paper towel, and a drying rack, cooling rack. And your fingers. Flour your surface. Cover your surface. Easy peasy. Use a rolling pin. You want to flour your rolling pin because you don't want your dough to stick either. All right, and you roll it in a circle. So we usually go that way, that way. It doesn't need to be a perfect circle either. The pan is kind of in my pin's way. This is a French rolling pin. It doesn't have the edges, the sides. I just feel like I have more control when it's not rolling out of my control. I can put it to where I need to go. All right, take that. And we're gonna cut it in fours. Usually the fried jack ways you cut it in half and you make little slits. But because we're trying to do a hors d'oeuvre, we're gonna try cutting it in fours. So I'm gonna cut it in fours. And we're gonna throw these inside. That's ready to go. And then we want to, when we're doing the jacks, you wanna have all your dough out and ready to go. It's not like the tortillas where you might have time to come back, roll another one out. No, with the jacks, they fry so quickly that you won't have time to do this. So you want everything ready to go. You want to have your little station set up over there with your cookie sheet and your drying rack. Because, like I said, once they get going, it's fast. So, all right. So I remember watching this this British cooking from home show, and there was an Indian lady there cooking, and you see how mine is all not perfectly square, perfectly in a circle, perfectly fine for me. She was like, and that's why you don't have a husband. I was so I was like, what do you mean? Because the girl couldn't make a perfectly round dough. They have their naan bread that they were making, you know, and they put it on the like the komal, and they press it down, and she couldn't make it into this perfectly circle. I'm like, hey, I've been cooking for eons of years, and to me, it doesn't matter what the shape is. It's gonna fry up, and nobody will tell the difference, except when you're making tortillas. When you're making tortillas, then I usually push for a perfect circle. So my surface is getting a little sticky, so put a little bit more flour. You don't need a lot, and you always want to sprinkle from the top. You don't want to put it directly onto your dough, so it can be evenly distributed. Always remember that. And your hands are already floury, so you can just use your hands. You don't need to flour the pin directly. Alright. There we go. And then when I retire, I want to open up this place called the Jack Shack, where it's all fried jacks in different ways. So you can make fried jacks into an entree meal. You can make fried jacks into this appetizer. You can make fried jacks into desserts, which I will experiment with that. So, which I have already. So you will, when the menu tasting series moves on to dessert, right now this is the last appetizer. When your menu series moves on to desserts, I will add cinnamon and sugar to this dough, and I will sprinkle some powdered sugar on top. And the last time I made them into churros, because at that time I didn't know how to make the Claire's dough. So my son came home and he was like, Mom, I went to this Hispanic show and at school, and somebody made churros. It's the best ever. I was like, I don't know how to make churro dough. I do know how to make jacks. So I took it like this, and I cut them in strips, and then I fried it up, and I rolled them in cinnamon and sugar, and boom. And my son was like, it's not the same. still delicious. So you can turn these easily into a dessert. It's just a dough, a fried dough. All right, this is the last one I have. There's the side. There we go. And now I'm gonna throw these in at a time. Not throw. Do not want to throw these in the oil. You want to place them in nicely. Lay them in nicely, because your oil is going to splash. You don't want that. So if you can see, you hear that sizzle? It's ready. Probably could do more than 4. I could probably do 6 at a time. There we go. See, once they're in, ready to be flipped. Ready to be flipped. See, nice. They're puffing up. Nice and pretty. I'll turn it out just a little bit because remember I did turn it down. Just a tad. And I will bring it on to my frying setup here. There we go. And that's it. That's all Jack is. A little bit wide on that end. Here we go. Now I'll take 6 more. I want to get these frying up because my avocado is waiting for me. So we're going to take these, put them nice, slowly, and if you're scared, you don't like frying, you take the tip and drop it in that way as well. Don't toss them in there, or you will get burned. You might get burned anyway, but it's a for certain that you will get burned if you toss it in there. These are ready to be flipped. I'm flipping. Like I said, I want to turn it up a little bit more because it should be done. Because I lowered it. Take a look at that. Take a look at that nice, fluffy dough. It's so hot, it's burning my fingertips. But it's okay, it's delicious. I can't wait. Right. Flipped. Yeah. That oil definitely needs to go up a little bit more because I should be able to flip once. See? So you could burn anyway. It just got splashed. So it won't turn around for me. There we go. Return. Alright, and that's it. They're out. Not too long. When they come out, you can give them a little turn of, one second, let me talk to you instead of away from you, of your, it's okay. It's all, I'm just going to put some on when you first come out. There we go. That's it. There we go again. Next round. Put a couple in your hands. Toss them in there. And like I said, I turned on my oil because also as you fry, it brings down the temperature. And if you want to be precise and you have the oil temperature that you can, the oil thermometer or the candy thermometer you can put into your oil into a deeper dish, you can definitely do that. It's going to be at 350. That's your frying temp. Not too much. Don't want to overcrowd. That's enough. And then you want to spread them out a little bit. You can put them on top of each other if they're nice and floury, but not too much because it'll, if you don't have it floury, it'll stick. All right. Flip it. Nice and fluffy. All right. I think one of my first ones are probably ready for taste testing. Let's see. So we're gonna have these out. Let's see how we're gonna serve this, right? Let's see how we're gonna present this. I have, look, I have this dish that I love, square, and I can bundle up my avocado here, or you can just put the avocado here with some little spoon. Not too long. Don't want to keep it in there too long. Just a tad. Ready, set, out. I'm going to be sinking a little bit because I'm going to put some salt on it when they come out. Not too much. Don't want no biting into no salty jacks. All right. All right, another round. There you go. Still nice and bubbly. Still nice and hot. And if you see your temperature come down as you're putting it in, it's not doing that sizzle, then you can take a break of the oil, turn it up, and then we'll do something else. And then sometimes I just start washing up the dishes, or to get your oil up to temp. Because if the oil is too cold, then you're gonna get soggy jacks. All right, ain't these so pretty? So pretty. All right, next round. Brown. Perfect. Nice and golden brown, like cookies. Golden brown. So fluffy. So fluffy. All right, so I might like a smaller dish for this. It's just it looks empty. Or you can just make some more avocado. So put this on an onion. There we go. It's all about presentation, right? Presentation. There we go. When you're having people over and you're seeing your dish, it's all about presentation. Presentation, nice and clean. Nice and clean. And dish. There we go. Alright, those jacks already come out. See the difference? So good. And you can put a couple spoons in there in case you have multiple people trying to eat the jacks at the same time. Look at that deliciousness. Look at that deliciousness. And you can see the paper towel is catching up all that excess oil that you don't want on your serving platter. That's why I always use this setup here whenever I'm frying something, no matter what I fry. Egg rolls, chicken. No matter what I fry, I have this setup. You don't want soggy. I don't want soggy fry anything. Nobody wants soggy fry anything, right? Alright, put these on here too. Look at that. Tell me that just does not look. So instead of avocado toast, now you can make fried jack and avocado spread. And so we can put, like I said, a couple extra spoons in there for your not your customer, For the people that you having over to eat, friends, family. I'm excited for the holidays coming up. We have a bunch of friends coming from all over the states. A bunch of Belizean friends. And I'm excited and nervous at the same time because they're gonna want like all these Belizean cuisines. And some of them are great cooks and some of them have been cooking these things for years. So we're gonna have a fried jack competition and I gotta keep you updated on that one. But let me try. In the meantime, let's see. So you take it, you spread it like that. Take a look at the inside. Nice, bready. See? It's bready on the inside. Alright, put my jacks. Turn my oven stove off, right? I'm gonna turn it off. On your last round, on your flip, to get your oil coming down, because you don't want to leave it there too hot. Alright. These are ready to come off. Don't forget to salt it when they come out, freshly salted. Not too much. And then also, when you're done with your oil, you want to remove it off the heat. By keeping it on the heat will make your house all smoky and smell of burnt oil. So let's remove it off the heat carefully. Sometimes I take it and I put it in the oven. Alright, bring this over and take a look at that. Isn't that just picture perfect where you're like, you don't want to eat it, but you do? Alright. Here we go. Salt away. Now, this is what fried jack is. Yummy, fresh, fried dough, fluffy on the inside, crispy on the outside, and then you take your avocado. Remember we put it on, when you put it in the food processor, you put it on high at the end. And so you can get that whipped feeling in your avocado. Also, if you add any onions or tomatoes or salsa, like I said, that you can do, you want to do that at the very end. And you just want to pulse it. You don't want to, because then you're going to get an avocado salsa puree is what you're going to end up with. So you want to add your onions or cilantro, tomatoes. You can add that at the end after you've whipped your avocado. So that's the avocado. That's the fried jack. Absolute deliciousness. So I will go ahead and add this to the menu. It's a part of the new menu tasting series. I will have this up on my YouTube channel. If you want to take a look at it back and fast forward and pause, or you can also have me in your kitchen. So you can book me at cookwithmenatalie.com and I can come into your kitchen and we can cook fried jacks and avocado spread together. Thanks for joining me today. Look forward to seeing you again next Friday. Don't forget on Monday, I will have my list of ingredients listed on the Instagram and Facebook. And I will have it on there so you can go ahead and join me on Friday and we can cook together. See you then. Thank you.